Okay, how to use. I like that better. So let's go ahead and kick this back off again. Hey there, I am Chris Palmer, and in today's video, what I'd like to share with you is how to use and how to utilize supporting SEO content in order to achieve higher rankings in 2022. So what I want to discuss first and foremost is going to be, well, what exactly is a supporting piece of content? Now, of course, I'm a visual learner. A majority of people are, so I want to go ahead and just map this out. So what exactly is supporting content? Now, primarily, I focus on local SEO. So I'm going to describe, I'm going to walk through it talking about local, but please don't be discouraged with supporting content because I'm talking about local SEO. I get this a lot. Supporting content, Google ranks content. It's content marketing. Regardless if you're affiliate, e-commerce, or local, content is key to find success. So supporting content, no matter what, is going to be very, very helpful as you move through the years, at least as of now, as long as Google's around. Okay, so let's go ahead and just walk through this a little bit. First and foremost, what exactly is a supporting piece of content? All right, now, a lot of times what I see, and I want to go ahead and give a good explanation of this, what we will see is this. So a lot of times what you'll find, and here's how I want to do it. Let's go through here. We're going to do text. What I'll see is this. So you'll have your homepage, okay? And then over here, what you'll have is you'll have your services, okay? And then as you go farther, okay, we're just going to try to build this out just like this. All right. So what you're going to have is you'll have your homepage, all right? Then you'll have your services, right? And then sometimes people will do locations, okay? And then there's going to be so on and so forth, but more notably, there's going to be a blog. And there's, of course, other pages involved here, but this should be enough in order to give a best explanation of starting with, well, what's supporting content, Chris? So a lot of times what I see, and here's what I want to share with you, and I'm going to give you a ton of information here that I think will I know will certainly help you out. What I see a lot of times is you'll have a blog, and let's say that this is a plumber blog, okay? Now, the services is where the dollars, this is what drives the business, correct? So that is a transactional-based query, okay? So we want to be deemed the traffic that Google sends you, okay, when you go inside a Search Console or you look inside a SEMrush, the traffic that Google is sending you, that's what Google thinks your website's about, okay? So if the primary thing that I'm doing, in this case, it's a plumber, but it could be for anything, again, e-commerce, affiliate, anything. But if the main thing that I'm doing is a transactional service, then that means the majority of the traffic should be transactional, okay? Because I'm a transactional website. I'm trying to sell and offer a service to my customers, right? But here's what I end up seeing, all right? And I just want to share this with you. Now, I've seen both ways work, but I want to, when we're talking about SEO, we're talking about being optimal, right? So we want to optimize things. So let me just walk through this. So this is what I see, and this is what is supporting content. And there's multiple ways to do this. Don't get me wrong, but we have our services, and under services, you'll have, again, we're a plumber. So it's going to be plumber, main city. Okay, and then you probably are going to have like toilet cleaning. Okay, now there could be other things. I'm not a plumber. Toilet repair. Okay, and so on and so forth. Now, what I generally see here. Okay, let's just say that these are the pages. Okay, what I'll generally see is then SEO agencies will come on, or even the client. I'll see this. They'll have a blog. And what they're going to do is 10 signs, okay? 10 signs you need a toilet repair, okay? Or how about this? 10 reasons you need a toilet cleaning, okay? I'm just using this as an example. I don't know why that's what popped in my head, but I'm trying to illustrate exactly what the point is here. So you have your blog, you're creating your content, and a lot of times, yes, this is supporting content, but what will soon happen is that your blog, informational-based content, is going to outweigh the transactional content. And let's talk about structuring too. I'll tie everything together all at once. But this here is supporting, just to hammer this home, this 10 signs that you need a repair, a toilet repair, is supporting the repair page. This 10 reasons you need a cleaning is supporting the cleaning page. Now remember, this is plumber, main city, so plumber in Houston. Then you're going to have toilet cleaning Houston. You're going to have toilet repair Houston. And then it's going to be 10 signs that you need a repair. 10 reasons you need a cleaning. Okay? They're going to internally link, but note this, the structure. Okay? Let's take a look at this. All right? And then I'm going to explain, then I'll walk you through the rest. But let's talk about structure here now. So when we have our website set up as this, and this is very, very common, okay? But when you have your website set up like this, so it's HTTPS, okay? HTTPS / let's just say it's plumberking.com / plumber-Houston, okay? So that's the primary keyword. Okay, now we have our homepage, which is plumberking.com. So this is plumberking.com. Our primary service is / plumber Houston. Okay, now with the current way that the site is set up, the supporting content is going to be laid out just like this. So HTTPS / plumber king, and stick with me. I'm going to tie it all together for you. .com / 10 signs you need a toilet cleaning. Okay, so 10 signs you need a toilet cleaning. Now, when we take a look at these structures, I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up, and I'll go ahead and pull this one up. All right, so we have our homepage, which of course is going to be, and here's what I'll do, Control C, just to make sure we have every single piece here. We'll go ahead and bring this up. So here's our homepage. plumberking.com. Here's our services, plumberking, okay, .com / plumber Houston. And then as we go over to the blog, the supporting content, we have plumberking.com / 10 signs you need a toilet cleaning, right? And this is very, very, very typical. However, please note, we're a service-based business. We're a transactional-based business. Whatever we're getting the majority of our traffic for is what our site is about. Right? You'll go through all the optimizations. It's all about the traffic and, of course, the conversions and the clicks. I get that. But what I'm getting to is if a majority of my traffic is coming from info content, what am I? Am I a blog or am I selling a service? Right? And over time, what sometimes happens, not all the time, but over time, what can happen is that you'll start ranking your blog pages instead of your primary service-based location pages, okay? So here's what I want to talk about. Let's get back to the structure here. So when we take a look at plumberking.com / you have to remember, as we're staying close to the root, right? The root is plumberking.com. Whatever's off of there is almost as important as the plumberking.com, the homepage, right? So by putting this directly after the root, the homepage, we're saying that this is just as important. This is just as important. This is just as important as this, but it's not. So here's what I want to walk you through, because as we go farther in the structure, we're showing less and less importance, but we can still pass internal links and power. Let me walk you through something that will give you a little bit better optimization, okay? And this is where the main topic comes in as far when we start talking about supporting content. We have to remember, this is a plumber site. We're talking about local. So that's going to be the example, all right? So we have our plumberking.com. Now let's talk about getting optimal here, all right? So if we have our primary services here, all right, and we start talking, and stick with me, I'll go through why you want to use supporting content. So this is the old way, all right? And, you know, I'm not saying that it can't work. I'm sure there's a plethora of sites out there that are making this work, and I'm sure they've been around longer than 2 years. It's been like that for a long time. They have a tactical advantage of having a 2-year-old site. They've probably been on the first page for quite a long time. They're hard to knock off, and then everybody's copying them. You see what I'm saying? And then it's just a recurring door of, hey, I can't hit top 3. Hey, I can't hit top 3, right? It's happened to me. So let's take a look at this. So let's go ahead and put an X through this. And remember, we have our Plumber King, but here, let's go back over to this page here. Let's click this. All right. Now let's talk about our supporting content, keeping in mind that this is about a plumber, and keeping also in mind that this is primarily a service-based business that's a transactional website, meaning the intent of the keywords that we're trying to rank for is primarily focused on transactional-based keywords, okay? So we have plumberking.com/Plumber Houston. Remember, this page is the most important page. We're a Plumber Houston, that's the main. Everything else is secondary, aka supporting. So when we build out a page that's going to be 10 signs that you need a repair, it's /10 signs you need a toilet repair. Okay, now the 10 signs that you need a toilet repair is going to support your plumber, probably going to be your either Plumber Houston or either your Houston toilet repair page, right? And then you'll have, technically speaking, this should actually be toilet repair Houston. Okay, just to keep it on point. Sometimes people watch a video and be like, hey, yeah, but what about this and what about that? So I want to make sure that it's on point, especially if you're following along, okay? So if we have plumberking.com/toilet repair, HOUSTON /10 signs you need a toilet repair. Now, we're telling Google that this, of course, the homepage is very, very important. This is next important. And then next in the structure is the supporting piece of content. Okay, now let's talk about some of the benefits of utilizing supporting pieces of content. All right, because at the end of the day, yes, content is king, and age of the website. I mean, there's dozens and dozens and dozens of factors. But let me give you some of the clear reasons why supporting pieces of content are very, very helpful. Okay, here, let's move all this stuff up, and then we'll be able to have a better discussion about this. Okay. So let's go ahead and make this green. All right. Now let's talk about this a little bit. All right. Oh, I forgot about this cool feature. I can move this up. All right. So let's go ahead and get inside of here. Get a sip of water, and we'll talk about supporting content and why it can be a very powerful way to power your most important pages. Yes, we'll still be able to receive traffic from those posts, but the objective here is to offer our toilet repair in Houston page. We want that to rank higher, okay? So we want to support it. So here's some of the reasons why, all right? Now, as you know, as far as topical relevance is concerned, right? The topical relevance of the website, like the overall relevance, like, are you answering all of the queries? You know, Diggity calls it the recursive keyword research model, right? Where your website answers all of the questions, the who, the what, the when, the why, the where, and the how, right? It answers all of the questions, all surrounding one topic, okay? It answers them all. So when we're building out our supporting content, here's why it's going to be very powerful. A, we're topically relevant. We're hitting all the topics. We have a robust website. We're able to, of course, drive a ton more traffic because we have those blog pages. But we're at least signaling to the bot, to the spider, that, hey, this supporting content still is not as important as this content here. And we're able to signal that by the structure, okay? Because it's farther back in the structure. Just like if you're buying a backlink, do you want a link that's off the root, or do you want it 4 levels deep, right? 4 levels deep still passes power, but not like off the root or the homepage, right? Right. So let's go through here and let me give you another reason. So other than topical relevance, other than building out a robust website, other than 2 internal links equals an external link and being able to generate internal links, which is another benefit, but now we're able to partake, if you would like, in a little bit riskier link building, meaning buying maybe inexpensive links, being able to push more referring domains through and to the website without risking the primary pages. And here's what I mean by that. Let me go ahead and walk you through this as far as an example. So if we stick with the Plumber King website, okay, let's go ahead and make this big. So if we stick with the plumberking.com, okay, and then we have, of course, here, let's go back into here. I'll just grab this one, Control C, we'll come down into here. We'll go ahead and edit this, and let's go ahead and use this as the example, okay? So please remember, all right, we have our big primary page, and of course, you should be building some of your most authoritative and highest quality links to the homepage. And yes, of course, you should be building your highest quality, most authoritative links to the primary pages that you want to rank, of course. But sometimes, depending on the competition, okay, you're going to need a higher A tag or internal linking count with a higher amount of internal links containing exact match keywords. And more notably, I'm going to need a overall higher count of referring domains overall in order to power the primary pages. Like Plumber Houston, I'm sure you're going to need some power. So how can you effectively do this without risking and jeopardizing the most important pages on the website, which are the primary ranking page, which in this case is Toilet Repair Houston, and of course the homepage, right? You don't want to risk the king, right? And in this case, you don't want to risk the queen, right? So what can you do? Well, this is where supporting content is another benefit for you, because not only can I get the internal links from having 2 or 3 pieces of supporting content to support the main topic, the main idea, the main ranking page, but I can also partake in riskier link building. And if anything happens, right, say a manual action or an algorithmic penalty, what's great about supporting content is penalties generally, depending on what you're doing. I mean, if you're doing ultra spammy stuff, not just link building, but penalties are page by page. Just like Google ranks pages, that's how penalties generally come, unless you're doing something so obscene that they just block the whole site, right? But generally it's page by page, okay? If it's links, unnatural link penalty, I haven't seen one of those in a while, but they still happen. But what I'm getting at here is this. Let me walk through this. So if we take a look at this page here, okay? So you might even have another piece of supporting content, or you might have 2 or 3 or 4 pieces of supporting content, all supporting the main idea, which is right here, toilet repair in Houston. But what we can then do when we need to get a higher referring domain count to the overall website, and of course to this page here, what we can then start doing is partaking in maybe lower cost guest posts, or maybe some Web 2.0s, and then we can maybe do blasts. Or I know that people have been asking me about the cloud properties. Great place for those. Whatever you want to do, but still stay protected, especially on the primary ranking page and the home page, which I never, ever, 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 ever want to risk the primary homepage or any of the primary pages that are going to drive a client's website, ever. So when I need to get my referring domain counts up and I need to get links and power to the website, supporting content all day. Period, end. So I can build links into here, I can jack up my internal links, and if there's anything that pops up, any risk at all, I can always remove that page, or I could remove one of these. See how this URL is? All I have to do is change the URL slightly. Now it's considered a new page. Do the reconsideration request, wait, and then 301, if there's a lot of links, 301 redirect that to the new page. Because as you know, generally 301s, or at least double 301s, aren't going to pass a penalty, right? Right. So that is how to use supporting content for SEO. That's what supporting content is. That's an effective way to use supporting content, and then why you should use supporting content for your SEO. My name is Chris Palmer. If you have any future questions related to local SEO, supporting content, content writing, anything at all, never hesitate. Feel free to go ahead and ask in the section below. And I, of course, look forward to seeing you in the next How to Use Supporting SEO Content Writing video. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the